This whole debacle revolves around my dad's upcoming birthday party. He's turning 60 in August, so we're planning a big party for him. We're renting a hall, doing catering, hiring a band, the whole shebang. Some old friends of his will be flying in from out of state, as will me and my sister. We both moved away after college. Anyway, since I don't get to see my family that often, I decided to invite my girlfriend to come along with me to the party. We've been dating for about 6 months now and are pretty serious, and my folks have told me several times that they'd like to meet her. I thought this would be the perfect time to make that happen, but my sister seems to think otherwise. Her problem is that she broke up with her fiancé last month, and she feels like me showing off my girlfriend to the family would just be rubbing it in her face that I've got a significant other and she doesn't. Now, I think this line of reasoning is petty AF. First of all, by the time August rolls around, her breakup will be old news, and she could possibly find someone new by then. Also, this isn't an event revolving around her, so it's not like I'd be upstaging her or stealing the show or anything. She's acting like me introducing my girlfriend to our family is a smear campaign against her or something. My mom and pop said they'd be more than happy to have a girlfriend at the party, but ultimately, it's a decision that me and my sis have to make. Something about keeping the peace or some crap. My sis hasn't exactly put her foot down, but is really hinting that she wants my girlfriend to stay at home. Would I be the a-hole if I just invited her anyway? Not the a-hole. Your sister's problems are not yours. Bring your girlfriend and have a good time. It's your dad's party, not hers. Not the a-hole. Your sister is being petty AF and a controlling tyrant about this. Hopefully, she's otherwise a lovely, not-so-self-centered person as she seems from this one incident and is just hurting from the recent split with fiancé. Update. So, I've been texting back and forth with my sis all day, and we've cleared some stuff up. But I do want to say, contrary to some of the opinions expressed here, she's not the stuck-up brat that some of you are imagining. She's usually pretty down to earth, and while her request was definitely unreasonable, both me and my parents know full well that she's not a spoiled princess who will throw a temper tantrum to ruin the big day. Anyway, like some of you suggested, I reached out to my sis with my thoughts, and a few things have come to light. I let her know that I understand she's in pain, but me wanting to bring girlfriend along isn't in any way to spite her. In the process, though, I learned that sis has no idea that I'm as serious about this girl as I am. I don't blame her for that either, because in the past I haven't hidden from my family that I mostly date casually. My current girlfriend is different, but sis just thought she was some duck buddy I've held onto for a long time. Once I told my sister that there's a good chance this girl could become her sister-in-law someday, she was more understanding. Still, as some of you have pointed out, this is my dad's party, not show-off OP's girlfriend party, so I suggested that maybe we come down a day or two early to meet the parents and extended family ahead of time. That way, a good chunk of the party guests won't need to be introduced to her, and maybe we can steer clear of the whole significant other topic. Sis seemed to be content with this compromise, so I'm hoping this puts an end to the whole affair. My husband has a bio daughter, Ava, who is 15, and my in-laws adopted at birth due to him being young and not having the means. Mother-in-law always said that when Ava was older, it would be up to her to decide the relationship she would have with her bio parents, which is fine. But then mother-in-law and father-in-law, mostly father-in-law, talked so much crap about my husband that of course Ava grew up with a skewed view. Ava hates me. I don't blame her. She's just a kid, and father-in-law tells her crazy crap about how I'm jealous of her looks. I would K her and steal her inheritance for my child if I could get away with it, and that I ruined her dad's life. None of that is true, but I don't blame her for being poisoned against me. We went there for Easter today. Mother-in-law and father-in-law and I do not get along, but it is important to my husband to see Ava sometimes, and I get that. I have a bio daughter, Tessa, who is 11, and my husband has adopted her. Mother-in-law has never once treated Tessa like a grandchild. When we got to their house, Ava wasn't there and she had spent the night with her bio mom. Mother-in-law wanted to wait to do Easter baskets until Ava got home. Her stepdad drove her to mother-in-law's and immediately got out and started being belligerent and making fun of our car, and mother-in-law said nothing. So honestly, I was in a bad mood going into the house. We ignored him and helped Ava drag all of her Easter stuff from her mom's house. Inside, mother-in-law gave Ava and Tessa their baskets. Tessa's was just a standard basket of candy, and Ava's was candy and probably $300 in shoes, Nike Air Max and platform Converse. I was annoyed because I understand that they are raising Ava and obviously spend more money on her. But why give her that right in front of Tessa? I gave my husband a look, but he didn't say anything. Mother-in-law went in the kitchen and I went and asked her if she really thought it was nice to give Ava that right in front of Tessa. Mother-in-law replied that us being poor, we aren't, isn't her problem, and Ava needed new shoes, despite Ava quite literally collecting shoes and having more than any of us. I said it was hurtful, and then she went off on me about how much Ava gives to Tessa. True, but no one has ever asked her to, And Ava has so much stuff, she needs to keep giving it away because it already takes up 2 rooms of my in-laws' house. And that her money benefits me too, and I am disrespecting all she does. I was really annoyed by everything and told my husband I was leaving. I'm sick of how they treat Tessa so much less than. I'm sick of having to be insulted because he wants to see his daughter and didn't think it through when he put her up for adoption. I took Tessa and left. Now my husband is calling me selfish, and my in-laws are blowing up and saying I hate Ava, when I have never hated the child for all of the adults in her life being idiots. Yes, the a-hole. They're the kid's parents. Of course they're going to treat her better than your child. Stepdaughter isn't your stepdaughter. She is your sister-in-law. Yes, the a-hole. The Easter baskets do not need to be equal. They aren't siblings. Ava was raised and adopted by her grandparents because your husband was young when she was born. However, it doesn't sound like he has much of a role in her life, since you say it's important to him to see his daughter sometimes. The in-laws have left it up to Ava as to how much she wants to be involved in Bio-Dad's life. If they hated you and Ava's dad as much as you think they do, they wouldn't allow that. They are likely bitter that he has adopted Tessa and hasn't tried to have Ava live with him full-time. In-laws have the means and desire to raise and care for Ava. I bet your husband doesn't pay child support. You should let your husband see Ava alone. They need to build a relationship without tension in the house. I, 43 male, have a daughter and 2 stepsons. My daughter, Anna, is 14 and her mother passed in October 2019 in a car accident. My wife and I have been married for 4 years and her sons are 9 and 12. I am all my daughter has. My wife and daughter get along but don't really talk often. Anna is struggling with depression and I've been trying my best to help her. She's in therapy and I try my best to spend as much time with her as possible. She once told me that me and her best friend are the only reason she keeps living. I can't lose her. I love her more than anything. And although I love my stepsons, it's not the same. They're only here every second week. I know this sounds wrong, but I don't love them as much as my daughter, not even close. Anna has lost almost everyone, and I'm not going to let her lose me too. However, my wife says that the amount of time I spend with her isn't normal. She says that her sons feel left out and like their stepdad doesn't even care about them. Apparently, they will grow up to resent me if this goes on. She also said that Anna is a lost cause, and I should just give up and get her more therapy. This made me so mad. I wasn't just going to give up on my depressed daughter just for her kids. I snapped and I said, they're not even mine. I don't care if they hate me. I know I shouldn't have said this because I still love them. My wife just said, wow, and has been giving me the silent treatment. I've tried apologizing, but she says she needs time. I feel awful. So, am I the a-hole? Yes and no in my eyes. I mean, you knew about the kids and still chose to marry their mom. But on the flip side, it's the same case for your wife. And for her to call your daughter a lost cause really speaks volumes on their actual relationship and what you perceive it to be. The next time the boys are there, you should try, if the wife will allow it, to sit them down and talk about the situation and see if a middle road can be reached. Maybe try finding things all 3 kids enjoy. It won't be a smooth, simple task, but it is doable. I wish you the best of luck in comforting your daughter and hopefully repairing your marriage and relationship with the stepsons. Everybody sucks here. Your wife telling you not to spend as much time with your daughter is mind-boggling. Giving up on her is not an option. However, I would want my husband to love my kids just as much as his own. You married your wife. You love your wife. Her and her kids are a package deal. Step or blood, they're your kids as well. Definitely not the right way to respond. How would your stepsons feel if they had heard what you said? Not the a-hole. Your wife is the a-hole. It's not for her to decide how much time you and your daughter spend together. Telling you to give up is cruel, and no mother should say this. Obviously, she doesn't love your daughter as much as her sons, but she is telling you off for it. Well, I understand your reaction, and let's be honest. How can someone love kids you only know for certain years as much as your own child that you raised from the beginning? But saying you don't care if they hate you was over the top. A family should stand together and should at least care for one another. My dad had an affair and left to be with his new girlfriend. They had a daughter, Liz. My dad passed away a few years ago. I met Liz maybe 5 times in my life, the last of which was my dad's funeral. I got a letter from Liz a few weeks ago. It turns out she is in prison. She owned an employment agency that was taking money from criminals to falsify paperwork and send trafficked workers to work in slave-like conditions. She got a long sentence. Liz wanted me to visit her, which I did, where she asked me for some help. She said her mother and all her friends have cut her off once they found out what she was doing. Nobody is talking to her or visiting her. She made a lot of money through her criminal activities, with several homes and vehicles and nice clothes. All of it is gone. The police took everything. She doesn't have a penny to her name. She will be homeless when she gets out, and her company has been shut down. The prison she's in has a scheme where well-behaved prisoners don't have to wear uniforms and can wear their own clothes, provided they aren't a security risk, meaning anything that could cause a prisoner to be mistaken for a guard. Liz left a few of the dresses she owns at her former friends' places and her mother's place. Obviously, I don't agree with how she was able to afford those dresses, but I think those prison uniforms are pretty dehumanizing. She's already being punished for being in there and doesn't need to be humiliated further. She said she wanted to feel beautiful again and wanted her dresses back. It wouldn't cost me anything, so I thought it wouldn't do any harm to get the dresses and bring them to the prison. Liz also asked if I could send her some money. The prison provides things like toiletries and personal care items, but they're of very low quality. However, better ones are available for prisoners to purchase. She's also started working out, and prisoners can buy things like protein shakes, and she also wants to buy makeup. I've said I would send her $50 a week, which isn't much for me, but is a huge amount in prison. She was delighted and hugged me. However, I told my wife Katie, and she was very upset. We have a 6-year-old son and a 4-month-old daughter. Katie said they should be my priority, not my long-lost sister. I think it's possible to care for all of them at the same time, but my wife said Liz is not our problem. I spoke to my older sister Sarah about this, but she utterly despises my dad, his new wife, and their offspring. She went mad at the fact that I'd helped Liz get her clothes back and said that the pampered little princess deserves to suffer in prison. I'm sorry, but Liz is a person. She has had everything taken from her and has no prospects for when she's released. She's family, just like Katie, my kids, and Sarah. I'll stop sending the money because Katie is unhappy, but I think Liz deserves some love and comfort, and I want to try and change Katie's mind. Sorry, yes, the a-hole. Being naive. She didn't seek contact with you before. She didn't seek contact to get to connect to you. She only contacted you because she wants something from you. She doesn't even try to hide it. She wants you to do things for her and to give her money. How does this have an effect on your family's finances? It doesn't sound like a lot to give her $50 for commissary a week, but over a year, it's $2,600. If it's a regular thing, that's significant and could go towards something for your family or your child. Yes, the a-hole. Your sister ran a company that profited off the back of trafficked people to work like slaves. She did this willingly and enjoyed the benefits of exploitation. The very least she deserves is to feel uncomfortable and not be parading around in her fancy clothes and makeup like she's too good to be in prison. $50 a week might be better served going to your kids, or if you won't miss it, maybe to a charity to benefit exploited people. My sister became pregnant and stopped the pregnancy last year. She told everyone she had a miscarriage, and ever since, it's very frequent she talks about losing her baby and how that feels on Facebook. Only our close family knows. We're not religious or pro-life or whatever. It was entirely up to my sister. We don't think of her differently because of it. It does, however, irk me that she reaps free sympathy online for something that is a tragedy to most people, despite never going through said tragedy. Mother's Day is coming up and she started a fundraiser on Facebook. She said she's extra depressed around this time and is looking for help from family and friends. It's not an official Facebook fundraiser. It's just Venmo, e-transfer, etc., me money type things, so I can't report it. She has told me in private that she's already received close to $1,500. All of this on a false pretense because no one knows. I want to out her on Facebook. She shouldn't be maliciously deceptive like this. She's preying on the empathy of others when I know she doesn't give two craps about anyone but herself. But would I be the a-hole? Not the a-hole. I would do it. She is lying. She will call you an a-hole for sure, but what you describe is basically a scam she is doing. Edit. Maybe speak to her first and tell her she should out herself and say she will either give the money back or use it for a charity. Everyone sucks here, but what she's doing is wrong and misleading, but it's not your responsibility to out her on Facebook or any other way. Have a conversation with her about your feelings if you need to get it out, but do not share her personal information.